Hey guys, getting back into that Thor catch-up, and when we last left off, we got ourselves a new Thor. A mechanic by the name of Adam Aziz, a pretty cool guy, man. He does, mechanic work for people who just generally can't afford to go to a normal shop. And, well, he's trying to rehabilitate himself, seeing as he was locked up for like 10 years for a bunch of armed robbery and assaults. But, when Thor came back to get that hammer from him, well, Tony's entitled ass told him, "You ain't getting the damn thing until you tell me what's going on here." And that boy Thor was like, "Tony, bruh, listen to me. Listen to me. I don't take orders from you, bro. King of Asgard. What makes you think I take orders from you?" And Tony was like, "Say less." And that's when that man powered up some rockets in his freaking armor and slapped that boy Thor right in the face with his own hammer. And guys, I'm gonna tell you, this is probably one of the worst things this man could do. Cause Thor was like, I see. That boy Thor, eyes start glowing and the wind and rumbling starts happening. And Adam's sitting over here like, oh my God, it just get real over here. And Thor looks at Tony, he's like, "Tony, listen to me carefully." And my man starts letting them know. And while he letting them know, guys, all you hear is da-doom, da-doom, lightning and crackle. But he tells that man, "Do not mistake wielding my hammer for wielding my power. Mjolnir or not, I am still a god. And you are a tin man in a lightning storm." And guys, if y'all don't know, this ain't the first time he said this to Tony. And guys, I can guarantee you that Tony's next actions are a direct result of him remembering the first time that Thor said this to him. Because the first time that Thor said this to him was when he learned that during the Civil War, Tony made a clone of Thor and used that clone to kill some of their friends. And Thor was just like, "Is that what you call friendship, bruh? Making a clone of me out of some DNA I gave you in good faith and then turning that clone on our friends? Is that what you call friendship? Is it?" Guys, when I tell you that Thor beat his ass, he whooped his ass. And Thor yoked his little ass up and was like, "You better give some commands to somebody who gives a damn. I'm Thor, Prince of Asgard and protector of the 9 realms. And you, boy, ain't nothing but a man in a metal suit." Look at his face. That boy was shooketh. And so I'm sure Tony, remembering this, is why the very next thing he says is, "Well, yeah, you know what? That's, as far as arguments go, that's pretty compelling," and gives that man his hammer back immediately. Thor was like, "I appreciate that, Tony. For the entirety of, the vast majority of the time that I've known you, you've been an honorable and noble friend. I appreciate you not making me test that." And Tony was like, "Well, I mean, to be fair, man, I mean, like you, me, Oklahoma, I at least had to." Thor's like, "Yeah, I know, you had to get one in." And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, plus being an engineer and all, when you got a hammer, you just kind of got it." And Thor's like, "Bruh, I just said I understand. Now, leave me and my hammer to get some work done, brother." But after Iron Man makes his departure, that's when Adam was just like, "Thor, can I ask you a question? Look, man, I don't really need a favor or anything like that. There's really just one thing I've always wanted to do since I was young." And Thor just looks at him. He's just kind of like, "What's up, man? What it is?" Well, we find out that the one thing that Adam has always wanted to do was learn how to fly. Yeah, man. Thor ends up teaching this man how to fly and work Mjolnir. And Thor's basically trying to tell him how to get a good slowdown with the hammer so that he can kind of just land without messing everything up. But as we see, Adam still kind of falls on his ass. And Thor just kind of tells him, "You know what, bro? That ain't even that bad, man. You should have seen me the first time I tried to land after flying with this thing." That's when Adam tells him, "You know, Thor, after all that time I spent locked up, man, I had a little window. Just a tiny window where I could see the sky. And I would always watch the birds flying." He goes, "And to be honest, I know this sounds pretty stupid saying it to you, but I just used to pray. I mean, I used to pray that one day I could fly like them." And he just kind of tells Thor, "Thank you, man. Like, really, thank you." And that's when Thor tells him, "I mean, bruh, isn't that what prayers are for? Adam's just kind of like, all right, well, no offense, Thor, no offense at all, but like, this whole thing, not really my thing. How do I get rid of all this? And Thor tells him, bro, all you got to do is smash the hammer on the ground as hard as you can. And with that, he transforms back into his normal human self and gives Thor back the hammer. And as he walks away, he stops to think. So he turns around and tells Thor, Thor, as somebody who's been a mechanic and somebody who just kind of fixes things, machines, 9 times out of 10, all you really got to do is turn things off and turn them back on again, and it should kind of set everything right. Most time. And Thor just asks him, well, what if it doesn't? And bro just tells him, I mean, if I'm to be honest, typically I will just hit it with the hammer until it works. Well, with that, Adam takes off and he's just like, all right, man, well, it was nice meeting you and don't be a stranger. And after taking a little bit of time to reflect on both Tony Stark and Adam's words, he picks up an old picture of his alter ego, Donald Blake, and thinks to himself, don't be a stranger.